Now, as we celebrate Workers' Day and International Workers' Day and May Day celebrations around the country, our reporter, Aldrin Sampear, caught up with COSATU's President, Sdumo Dlamini, earlier ahead of its rally in Bloemfontein. During that interview, Dlamini refused to comment on the opposition by some COSATU affiliates for the President to address the rally. In fact, he emphasized on the importance of the day.
Is that today is the Workers' Day, and workers come together to celebrate their victories, but also to reflect on their concerns and the challenges they are facing. That is what is important about the day, and workers will always express themselves by different ways. When they are happy about something, they will express themselves. When they are celebrating, they will express themselves. Today must be known for them having gathered together in the whole country to raise the plight of the working class in South Africa and to tell South Africa how are they going to deal with the challenges confronting them. So the political climate, let's agree, we're at a very, very crisis point politically in our country, and the leadership generally has got to listen to that noise where workers in general are expressing their displeasure about many issues and get together to respond to that, and they are using today to do exactly that. So we're here, we are worried when the message of the workers, which is a positive message, cannot be heard, but workers must be listened to at all material times. We are here to celebrate Workers' Day.
You speak about a noise, you speak about that leaders should be listening to this noise that's coming through. But at this point in time, even standing now right next to you, you've got people who are wearing t-shirts saying that we support Jacob Zuma, 100% Jacob Zuma. Then you have the likes of Nehao on the other hand, who are calling on the president to step down. So you have this noise that's coming through from both sides. Some who are in support of the president and some are not in support of the president. So how then do leadership sit down and listen?
You've got to just understand why that is happening. One, COSATU has taken a decision that the president must step down. On the other side, you have COSATU that has this day to express themselves what their aspirations are. The balancing act is critical for the workers. They would have to choose what is it that they must be known about. And I believe that they are all here to say, we are the workers in South Africa. We are suffering every day in farms, in the shopping malls, and everywhere. The employers are exploiting us, and we are gathering together here to deal with that issue, and that's the message that is very critical. Yes, they have expressed themselves on the leadership, and that issue as the leadership, we have to, going beyond this day, go to the boardrooms, sit down and deal with that issue that the workers are raising.
Tell you why I'm asking about these conflicting messages, where you have a message of support for the president and a message that's saying that the president should step down. I then wonder, how does COSATU then come to a conclusion that President Jacob Zuma should step down when you have these conflicting messages? Some of these people that are standing right behind you at the moment are workers themselves. Then how does COSATU then come to a conclusion that President Jacob Zuma should step down when there are some workers who are saying that they still have faith in the president remains the president of the country and must remain the president of the ANC as well?
It shows how divided we are, and it says to us that's the issue that we must deal with, the divisions that are there within our movement. Let us honestly, genuinely go to the tables and sit down, the alliance as a whole, and find out what is wrong and how we're going to deal with that problem.
When President Jacob Zuma is expected to deliver his message, the keynote address today, COSATU will be delivering a message of support as well on this day, and the SACP. Both these alliance partners have made it clear that President Jacob Zuma should step down. And I guess many of the viewers at home are wondering whether COSATU will be bold enough on today's podium to call on President Jacob Zuma to step down as the president of the country.
Look, I don't want to get into your channel, because we are here to raise the plight of the workers in this country, and we don't want that message to be overshadowed by one message, which is very clear. You hear that message here, but also the message the workers want to tell South Africa is that they are suffering under the labor brokers, they are suffering under atrocious conditions that they are exposed to every day. They must tell the world that. They must say, we want a national health insurance, we want a comprehensive social security, we want a national minimum wage, we want freedom, we want a radical socio-economic transformation now. Those are the issues workers are facing, and they should never be overshadowed by any other different message.
Speaking about those issues, the reason that COSATU supported the President Jacob Zuma back in 2007, 2006 as well, was that because COSATU felt that having President Jacob Zuma come in, he will listen to the workers, he will adhere to the plight of the workers and make sure that these issues are being dealt with. There are various issues that COSATU has raised previously. Let's speak about the issues of e-tolls, for instance. Let's speak about the issues on labor brokering. These are battles that COSATU hasn't been able to win. However, though, there have been some goods and some arguing that there's been a step in the right direction now with the national minimum wage. Whether it's a living wage or not, that's a different argument. But there has been some successes that COSATU has been able to win in the battle of trying to get workers, trying to get the plight of workers highlighted. However, though, some argue that probably this is the time where COSATU needs to sit down and look into whether it is still, whether it should still remain a member of the alliance, considering that there are some critical issues like the labor brokers that COSATU hasn't been able to win.
If COSATU in 2005, 2007, 2009 would have committed a mistake of relying on one individual, that individual was going to solve all our problems. That mistake COSATU must never repeat going forward, because I want to believe that problems that are confronting us are a responsibility of collective leadership. When workers are raising an issue about the president, that's on a specific issue. But the issues we are counting now, it would have been down folly for COSATU to then say, because we have Zuma, Zuma is going to solve our problem, all our problem. That's not the COSATU that I know. The COSATU I know believes in the collective leadership and believes in consultation broadly. So it is important that going forward, COSATU is able to be clear, even as we support Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa to be president. We must never commit a mistake of saying Cyril Ramaphosa is the one that will solve our problems. That's a mistake that we must never repeat in South Africa.
What's the next step for COSATU heading forward within the alliance?
The unity of the alliance is sacrosanct. We have got to be genuine about resolving the issues that are there. We must go back after this May Day. There is a political council, which is an alliance meeting. We'll sit down and discuss all the issues that are there. So there is a way forward. We are preparing for the Central Committee of COSATU, which must say what is the policy trajectory the Federation is following. We are going to this Congress of the Party, which we must discuss all the critical issues. Policy Conference of the ANC, ultimately the Congress of the ANC in December. These are the issues which requires COSATU united, standing together, not allowing anybody to set us against each other. Our enemy is not ourselves here. We are not enemies to one another. Our enemy is monopoly capital. We've got to then unite and move on to ensure that COSATU is the voice that is critical, representing the voiceless in South Africa. That is the duty we're having today.
And just when the CEC finally sits down, I guess quite critical as well, is an issue that was raised now by the likes of Nehao, CWU, as well as SADU, saying that the COSATU has called on the president to step down as the president of the country, but not as the president of the ANC. Do you think that that's something that needs to be clarified, because now COSATU finds itself in a bit of a quagmire, considering that some are saying that President Jacob Zuma, as the president of the ANC, shouldn't be addressing COSATU members, because it might send a conflicting message to community members?
Look, as responsible leadership, we should avoid continuing to confuse members on the position the Federation is taking. I would rather say that matter, we are going back to our constitutional structures and have a discussion. I don't want to say whether the position we have is wrong or right. The position we have taken is a correct position. We have to go back and say, how do we manage that situation? So I'd rather keep it at that, Adrian.
Just a final one before I let you go. President Jacob Zuma had called for a meeting between yourself as well as the top six of the ANC. Has that meeting taken place yet after the call for him to step down?
We have had the meeting between the General Secretary of COSATU and the President of COSATU and President Zuma after the call by COSATU. That meeting is going to be followed by a broader meeting between COSATU and President Zuma. There is also another meeting on the side of the officials of the ANC and the leadership of COSATU. That meeting is coming. There is another meeting of the alliance. We call it the Political Council meeting. That meeting is coming very, very soon. With all those meetings, surely we should be able to come up with a solution.
But has COSATU been resolute that President should step down, even in the initial meeting?
COSATU's position is that President Zuma must step down.
Okay, then perfect. Thank you so much. There you have it from the president of COSATU. Quite a lot of issues that we have to discuss, and we can go on and on with this interview, considering the current political landscape that the country finds itself in, considering the state of the alliance as well. And as the president of COSATU has indicated that today might be overshadowed by other issues, considering the political landscape that the country finds itself in. It's back to you in studio.
Thank you, Aldrin Sampear.